Okay, so here's Derek and the dogs just about to set up the R6 for the first time. So straight out of the box comes the tripod and then the carry bag and some cables. So the tripod is the base that the satellite dish goes on. You don't need to level this or anything like that. As long as you're on reasonably level ground, you won't have any problems whatsoever. I will just point out that the tripod has plastic wing nuts on the side of them. So if you've got one of these, don't over tension it. You might break the the plastic wing nuts. But Derek, maybe if you throw that over behind the van where we're going to set it up. So right about there would be good. So next out of the box, after Derek pulls out all the foam, he's actually going to pull out the dish itself with the controller and gearbox all built onto the back of the dish. This is so simple. You just lift it out and go over to the back of the tripod and just slide it in. It'll drop down and then you spin it around and you'll feel it drop into place or lock into place. So there's no bolts to do up or anything like that. So the dish is now set up and you've got to run a cable from the dish all the way to your van. So there should be a 10-meter cable that comes with the kit, this white cable here. So you run one part of this cable directly from the dish. So around the dish at the back, you'll see there's a little F connector. It's the same type of connectors that Foxtel use. And you just screw it up until it's finger tight. We're doing this demonstration in Harvey Bay and we're pretty much parked right at the end of the airstrip. So the other end of this piece of cable, we stretch out and we take around to the van. Derek's going to make a right royal mess of doing this. And if your van doesn't already have an easy plate, you'll need to install one of these. But that's just another little F connector on the outside of the van that the cable goes into. And again, just screw it in. Until it's finger tight. So that's the dish connector to the van. Now we've got to connect the satellite decoder inside. So if we go inside the van, we'll need to take a couple of short cables with us that come inside the box. So again, inside the box here, we've got a little piece that we call a power injector, which I'll show to you now. This is a power injector. We're going to have to install it inside the van. And we've got a couple of short cables and a power cable. So let's go inside. Okay, so inside the van here, we're setting this up. Oh, it sounds very echoey in here. We're setting this up using a SatKing Vast decoder. This model is a SatKing 800CA. It's a Vast certified decoder. In the back of it, you attach one of the short cables. And again, it's got F connectors on the end. And then from the decoder, the other end of that short cable that you just plugged in goes into the power injector where it says receiver. So one end says antenna, the other end says receiver. So that's upside down, but you can see that's going in where it says receiver. And again, you just screw that up finger tight. There you go, we'll spin it around so you can read it. And then the other short cable goes from the antenna side of that power injector into the other side of that easy plate, which comes through the wall, which for this one you can see is just here. And again, it screws in just finger tight. It's just another F connector. So believe it or not, we've been going for 5.5 minutes so far. All that we've got left to do is to supply power. So the power injector itself needs a 12 volt input. So one side just goes into a cigarette lighter. This is only required for alignment, so this won't stay plugged in once the dish has aligned itself. So into some power there, and then this 12 volt cable is going to go down, and the other end is going to go into the power injector. And then the last thing we're going to do before we press start on the dish is just to turn the power on to the VAS decoder. So just the power here. We'll see on the VAS decoder here that it will boot up. And actually on the screen of the TV, we'll see the Sat King message. So now we know that that's all good. We go back out, and all we need to do is effectively press the start button on the dish, and it will totally align itself up. So if we go around to the dish and we'll read the on-screen instructions, and Derek will press the buttons for us. The first thing it says is waiting for PI. And so once it's found the power injector, which it's done now, it tells you the satellite you're going to line up with, which in this case is the Optus C1 satellite. And it says rotate LNB 0 degrees. 0 degrees, if we go around the front, the LNB has markings on it. That black mark there is lined up with 0. If I stand over the top, you'll see it lined up. Later on, it's going to tell us to move that LNB position to either a plus position or a minus position. But we'll just read and follow the instructions at the moment. So if we come back around the back, all we're going to do now is move the dish. Actually, it's already worked out that we've got to move the LNB. It says rotate LNB minus 5 degrees. So we come back around here. Derek's going to rotate this to minus 5 degrees. So you see that that black line now lines up with the minus 5 degree marker. We come back around the back and we press the, I forgot one thing, we've got to put it in position 2, but it's going to tell us that in a moment. If you press the start button, Derek, it's going to say dish in position 2. So see on the side here, we've got position 1 and position 2. Position 1 is for transport. Position 2 is the position we're going to put it into for alignment here. So you loosen it off, tilt the dish back up, tighten it off again in position 2. And all you do now is you press the start button and stand back and watch the magic happen. So at the most it'll do 3 laps to find the satellite. Sometimes it finds it a lot faster than that. We'll see how quick it finds the satellite here now. Now I can tell from the dish position at the moment that it's probably going to take about 3 laps to pick this up. It started quite elevated, it probably doesn't need to be as elevated as that. So the next lap that it does around it will probably drop the elevation down a little bit and do another lap. Oh, it's gone elevation up, made a fool of me. So you could be inside unpacking your van and everything now, because this is pretty much an unattended mode. There's nothing that you need to do. Okay, now it's done 2 laps and it's found the satellite. So now it's going to do its fine tuning. So it's going to do little movements up, little movements down, little movements left, little movements right. And it'll do this for probably about 2 minutes. But as I say, you don't need to stand here and watch it do this. It's just fine tuning. So it found the satellite here in 2 spins. Sometimes it takes up to 3 spins, but in this case 2 full rotations and it found the satellite. Whilst it keeps lining itself up, I'll just take you around and show you the back of the dish. And you'll see it says here that it's optimizing the signal. Once it finds the signal and it stops doing all its little fine tuning, it'll tell us that it's got a lock on the dish, and it will tell us that we can remove this control module. And I may as well just demonstrate the control module to you as we go. This control module is the brains. It's the computer that drives everything. It detaches at this point here, and there's a little button up underneath here, and you wrap your fingers up around there, and then you push in with your thumb on that button, and that whole module detaches. They call it an anti-theft mechanism, but really it's just common sense to have the brains, or the computerized part that controls it all, locked away once the dish is lined up. So it's still doing its fine tuning at the moment. I don't think there'll be much more to go. And it stopped moving. And it now says to us, module can be removed, found Optus C1 satellite, LNB in position -5 degrees. So we'll just go around and check that. Here's the LNB, and the position you can see is -5 degrees. It's probably -4.5 degrees, but that's near enough. So Derek will now remove the control module, and that can be locked away. We'll put it back in the box for the time being for safekeeping. And then magically we'll go inside now. We'll just follow Derek in, and it will all be tuned in, ready to start watching TV. And we know that it's working now because that's the VAST test channel. So that's channel 800 on VAST. And you'll see the Sat King decoder is on channel 800. Now there's no longer need for power to the power injector. And in fact, I would unplug it at this point in time, because what it does is the transformer goes up from 12 volts to 24 volts. So you can unplug the power to the power injector. There's no need for that anymore. The only time you'll need that again is when you pack it up. And then that's ready to go. And you can start watching TV. Well, thanks for watching, and hopefully that's been of some assistance to somebody who wants to set up the TravelVision R6. Now this is the R680, who wants to set up the TravelVision R680. And as I say, we've set this up today on a beautiful Bushtracker Caravan. Thanks for your time.